nervous anticipation in the garages here. If Sebastian Vettel can jump Lewis Hamilton at the start, what a bonus that would be for Red Bull as we head in to round 10 and we look for the 5 lights ahead of the drivers. And it's lights out and away we go, and it looked like Lewis Hamilton got the better start. Nico Rosberg certainly got a very good start, and he's pressurising Vettel, who runs very close to Romain Grosjean. Felipe Massa has made a good start, but he's still behind Fernando Alonso. Down the outside goes Romain Grosjean, trying to put pressure on Sebastian Vettel. Lewis Hamilton leads, Vettel keeps hold of second place. Rosberg now challenging Grosjean on the run down into turn 2. He's got to watch out, Rosberg, because here comes Alonso round the outside of Grosjean. He's almost moved up a place, gets squeezed off the track, and that could allow Rosberg back in, but he's got Massa now for company as they head through turn 3, and Rosberg's got wide and off the track, and Mark Webber there gets a visor full of dirt.
Grosjean getting, oh, we've got to lock above the way into 4, look at that, almost 3 abreast, absolutely crazy there, not working out well, and we got contact.
That's Nico Rosberg going off the track. He's gone off once, he's gone off twice, and the second time round could be catastrophic for him. Nico Rosberg in all sorts of bother at the start of this race. He's now got Sergio Perez for company, down in 11th place.
And he was looking at P2 heading towards the first corner was Nico Rosberg. It looks like he could have right rear damage as well.
After Ricciardo comes Perez, and then Maldonado, Rosberg down in 12th, and there locking up Adrian Sutil as round the outside of him. Nico Hülkenberg makes up a place.
Yeah, Duress has had a great start up to 13th already. Put a bold move on his teammate. They're right up there with Rosberg. I'll tell you, a man who was brave, considering how many first lap accidents he's had in Formula 1, was Grosjean. He got squeezed by Sebastian Vettel, refused to yield, went around the outside, and then plain shoved Alonso off the road.
You got the feeling the dirty start at the side of the grid didn't help Sebastian Vettel, but Rosberg behind him, also on the dirty side of the grid, was pressurising the championship leader from the other side, as we now ride on board with Pastor Maldonado, who's made up places, started 15th, running 11th at the moment, behind Sergio Perez and the McLaren. How close do you want to get without touching? Not much closer than that.
Bold from Grosjean, kept his head, kept it on the track just. Didn't lose his nose there, so he's definitely learning from his mistakes. And watch the maestro himself off the start.
Yeah, got a really good getaway. Vettel came over to cover Romain Grosjean, almost spied a gap, but Rosberg rather got in the way of that for Fernando Alonso.
So Rosberg then's had a great start at this point. So it all goes wrong when he gets taken around the outside by Alonso and then tapped by Massa in the other Ferrari. A poor initial getaway from Sebastian Vettel, who goes on the defensive. Look, looking in his mirrors, left, right. And now he's sort of driving down the middle of the track. Don't move too far because he knows he's on his back foot.
Now this is Kimi Raikkonen going off, the Ferrari ahead of him. And there's the Mercedes of Rosberg just trying to squeeze into the inside of turn 5. That's where the contact was made.
Ted.
Yes, as you say, Martin, the window for the first of the 3 stop is potentially lap 7. We passed that. If you can do a short first stint 2 stop, then it's between lap 10 and 13 you're looking at coming in for your first stop, with your second around lap 39 to 42. The Mercedes mechanics just testing out their wheel guns, seeing if they're working. We're expecting them in before anybody else, but the pace is good so far for Hamilton.
With this front wing problem, can you feel the understeer? Do you feel the understeer?
An answer, we wait to find out. I would imagine the way it's flapping, you'd feel something.
Yeah, but we saw Mark Webber back in the Canadian Grand Prix. He wiped all that lot off the top, and still he was fast.
It's the bit at the side as well, totally lost the end plate.
Yeah. They can adjust the differential, the brake bias a little bit, and help it. Driving style can help as well.
They're the 1, 2, 3, all going around in single file in the penultimate corner.
They look as close as they did. Oh, and
Lewis
Hamilton pits.
So Mercedes forcing the issue, went very wide there. Almost using the curb as a banked exit into the entrance into the pit lane.
All the time counts. The watch is running from those lights going out to the flag being dropped.
And it's 80 kilometres an hour, the pit lane speed now, and it's medium compound tyre for Lewis Hamilton, all fixed on, and away he goes as Force India and Williams await their drivers into the pits as well.
Well, he had a 23-second gap to Ricciardo. Will he get himself out in front of Jenson Button?
No. And I wonder if Lewis Hamilton has just taken Jenson Button as his teammate. Nico Rosberg now comes in for his pit stop down in 15th.
Yeah, Hamilton's ahead of Button.
That's a crucial overtaking move from Lewis Hamilton, not being held up by Jenson Button, and now can run his own race without someone dictating the pace ahead of him.
And Lewis Hamilton's first sector 6/10 quicker than Sebastian Vettel's. Red Bull surely will have to react pretty soon. They do.
They do. And Grosjean catching Sebastian Vettel, I think, was in a position, Martin, where he might have got a chance to overtake down this main straight. As it is, Roman Grosjean now leads the Hungarian Grand Prix as Vettel makes his first pit stop. And will he get out now ahead of Lewis Hamilton, who is yet to come round now, is just coming round the final turn. 80 kilometres an hour. Mark Webber, you can see, going through your picture, past his teammate Sebastian Vettel, but where is Lewis Hamilton? There is Lewis Hamilton ahead of Jenson Button, and he is still ahead of Sebastian Vettel. Button might be ahead of Sebastian Vettel going into the first turn. Going to be tight. Button does squeeze past.
Alonso pits from what was just becoming second place.
And it's now a Lotus 1-2. Grosjean from Raikkonen, who hasn't pitted yet. Medium tyres going on to Fernando Alonso's Ferrari. Where does he come out onto the track? We'll see. It should be behind Jenson Button and Sebastian Vettel by quite some way, as through your picture they go there, and Sergio Perez, the next man on the road.
Okay, Lewis, we think Grosjean going to a 2-stop. You do need to look after these rears. We'll update you on traction metrics.
Now, how do these tyres look for our race leader, Roman Grosjean?
That right rear looks fine.
A little bit on the front right. You're never quite sure if it's grainy or just a little bit of pick-up. Roman Grosjean now coming in to the pits. Our race leader then made it to the end of lap 13 before he decided, here we go, it was time to pit. And I said that Kimi Raikkonen was coming in. He is coming in. You can see him there. They're double stacking, aren't they, down at Lotus? Enough of a gap to do it quite comfortably, you'd feel.
Double the pressure though, isn't it? If you get the first one wrong, you've messed up both your cars.
Grosjean comes out behind Lewis Hamilton, behind Jenson Button, behind Sebastian Vettel and Kimi Raikkonen, behind Felipe Massa once again, with Adrian Sutil getting into that mix. You saw the Force India going through into turn 1.
Yeah.
Down the main straight we go once more. 5.5 seconds the gap between Webber and Hamilton, and barely a few car lengths between Button in third, Vettel in fourth, and Grosjean in fifth. And is Vettel going to go for it again? In the championship order, he's ahead of Fernando Alonso. That's good for him, but he won't want to be stuck behind for very much longer. And this time he is going to make it go. Down the inside, has to lock up his brakes. I don't know if they touched or not, but Jenson Button just about left enough room. Vettel had to lock up the brakes to avoid any major contact. And now look, here's Roman Grosjean, maybe getting interested going into turn 4. Not a place you would normally overtake, but he's waiting to pounce on any little slip-up that Vettel might put in.
Okay, Sebastian, you need to drop back in the middle sector to cool the car. Drop back in S2 to cool the car and the brakes.
How can he
Check
do
my front wing, check the front wing.
maybe there was a bit of contact then.
I thought there was a touch of contact right on the apex of turn 2.
And toggle curse, Sebastian. We cannot have high power. Toggle curse.
Problems for Sebastian Vettel, both from his rivals and it seems from his car at the moment as well. Jenson Button pulling away again from this man, Sebastian Vettel.
And Vettel, not only does he have to back off, he's got a lot of understeer as well. He's definitely lost some front downforce. You can see him through the higher speed corners, just having to wait for the front to settle. That'll damage that left front. And you're a metre or two later getting on the throttle, and now he's under extra pressure with DRS as well for Grosjean.
Grosjean is going to go for this. He is going to gain down towards turn 1. He's going to switch to the outside and try and go the long way round. Now cuts in towards the apex, gets a much better exit out of turn 1. He is closer to Vettel than he has ever been. Going down towards turn 2, once again tries to go the long way round the outside. Vettel saw it coming and covered him off.
They'll get a better run through turn 3, but I don't think it'll be enough on the way up to 4. Though Vettel's gone onto the Astra on the outside.
Just now car is okay. Vettel has front wing damage, and we are in the window. We are in the window.
Vettel's gone wide again through turn 4. He really is struggling. This part of the track might just save him a little bit. It's almost impossible to overtake here, but Grosjean might just give it a go. Through the chicane now we go, and I mentioned Fernando Alonso was catching this group. There you see it on your screen, Alonso right behind the Frenchman.
Do not leave this motor race. It's turning into an absolute cracker. The only good news right now.
That's Felipe Massa. We ride on board with Kimi Räikkönen. While we've been watching Räikkönen's teammate Roman Grosjean. Räikkönen's been getting the job done himself. He's up into 8th place at the moment.
Adrian, we've had a hydraulic leak, we believe, just happened over the last lap.
Oh, such a shame, and that would explain why he couldn't select gear. He was told to just turn the car off because he was running pretty high. Set some good points possibly.
Yeah, and it's his 3rd, did not finish of the season for Adrian Sutil.
That unseen move of Hamilton passing Button gained him 10 seconds, basically.
And this is how it happened, down the main straight, using DRS, on board with Lewis Hamilton, gaining on Jenson Button, down into turn 1. Had to be brave, Martin, had to be bold, and had to get it done.
The straight line speed there from the Mercedes, DRS and Kurz as well, so we're heading down towards turn 2 now. Jenson's still trying to come back around the outside.
Okay, Kimi, we're thinking of target plus 10 for this stint. We're thinking target plus 10.
Really a question now of how far Jenson can go, because they're dramatically affecting the pace of others now.
Vettel's got very close to Jenson Button here. I wonder if he's going to have a go into turn 4 and maybe push Jenson Button wide. He does. Sebastian Vettel spotted an opening there and took it. Couldn't wait for Button to come into the pits. Had to get the job done there because he just hadn't had chances before. Now Grosjean is having a go on Jenson Button and they touch. Going into the chicane. It wasn't clean for Roman Grosjean. He takes to the escape road. Now Fernando Alonso fancies his chances to get past Button, and he does. And if he wasn't coming into the pits before, Martin, I think Button is coming in now.
Button, so here we go. So Vettel's got the job done. Jenson's on his back foot. Now we're going down to the 6-7 chicane. And all 100% Grosjean's fault. 100%.
Might have front wing damage. In the Lotus decided there wasn't enough room for 2 of us.
They will have had a quick look on that car. They only had 3.5 seconds to find out whether anything was wrong or not. They've sent Jenson back out again on the soft compound tyre. And Ted, down to you.
Yeah, there was. They didn't replace the nose, as you can see. Just added a bit of front wing, but interestingly, the soft tyres. So McLaren trying a different strategy now of the hard tyre starters like Mark Webber and Sergio Perez. They've gone with a harder tyre again, but Button targeting a short stint now on the soft.
And I wonder if there's a problem on Grosjean's car, because he's coming into the pits now for at least a change of tyres and certainly a look-see to see if there is any damage to that Lotus, who pits from 3rd in this race. Hamilton leads from Sebastian Vettel at 80 kilometres an hour. Grosjean stops now to put on a new set of medium compound tyres. No front wing change, but out goes Grosjean then after his 2nd stop in this race.
So he's only done 12 laps on those. That cannot have been on schedule, surely.
Comes out ahead of Jenson Button. This is going to be a tasty scrap then for the next lap and a half.
How was my pace?
Okay, Lewis, pace is good. 3/10 faster than Vettel.
On 27.8 from his previous lap, Lewis Hamilton. And Grosjean coming in probably about 3 or 4 laps earlier than you would expect a 3-stopper.
I wonder if they saw at the beginning of a slow puncher or something. But that was a very exciting Lewis Hamilton on the radio, wasn't it? Very excited. Unsurprisingly.
Maybe he senses he's got a sniff of a much better afternoon here than he thought he had. Remember, 4th Hungarian pole for Lewis Hamilton, who's won this race in the past as well. Under investigation, Romain Grosjean, for causing a collision.
It can't be Jenson's fault, because he was on the racing line, right on the edge of the racetrack.
Yeah.
Right, Sebastian, we're hoping that Grosjean is going to be stuck behind Massa. You doing those lap times in clear air is our best strategy. Good job, mate.
Giving him all the encouragement he needs at the moment whilst out in front. And he's charging as hard as he can to make that work. Grosjean is now stuck behind Massa, who's gone wide. Closes off on the exit of turn 2. But can Grosjean now make the move into turn 4? He's gaining all the time. He's going to pull alongside Massa. Not a place where you really want to be going wheel to wheel here. Gets in front, gets tagged a little bit as well, I think, by Felipe Massa going through turn 4. But that was heart in the mouth stuff. It just looked like there was a slight contact as he went through. Let's have a look. And right there, no, there was enough width, wasn't there?
That's a great move.
And Esteban Gutierrez Day falling apart. And he's the second retirement from this Hungarian Grand Prix. And the track temperature, 50 degrees. Air temperature, 35 degrees. It's hot, not as hot as some had feared. The forecast was that we could be having 40 degrees here and mid-50s for a track temperature. And we've seen one great move in the turn 4 that saw Felipe Massa overtook, Button a bit too far behind to do that again.
Which is very significant, isn't it, what you're just saying there, David? Because a lot of teams were saying, oh, Jensen's got a great chance then up into the chicane. Job done, Massa can't turn in. Nice one. Massa really struggling for grip now on those older tyres.
Vettel now moves into the lead once more of the Hungarian Grand Prix from Alonso and Webber coming down the straight at the moment, and Hamilton comes out behind Mark Webber. Crucially though, ahead of Kimi Räikkönen in the Lotus. Grosjean gaining on Kimi Räikkönen at the moment, one place behind him. Hamilton now in 4th. Good pit stop.
Having said that, Lewis has got good straight line speed. Kurz is powerful on that car, and he hasn't got any temperature issues. He's got a great chance, I think, of catching and passing those cars in front of him.
Okay, Lewis, you've got Webber ahead on 8-lap-old prime tyres. Alonso ahead of him, 19-lap-old prime tyres. We need to get past these guys.
Keep an eye on the vibration.
Understood.
Yeah, well, that's front wing damage, of course, to Sebastian Vettel. At turn 4, leaving the track, that's where he passed Felipe Massa. So not once but twice, Roman Grosjean under investigation, and not 1, not 2, but 3 cars here. Webber and goes a bit wide and almost into the Mercedes. Turn 1, has Hamilton got a chance to get past Mark Webber and put himself back up into the top 3 once again on fresher tyres, remember.
He's got a huge amount of more speed down the pit straight as Lewis Hamilton.
He's going around the outside here, Martin. He's going to try this, you know, going into turn 3. Fully committed, Lewis Hamilton, and makes the move stick, puts himself back up into the top 3 again, and now Fernando Alonso in his sights.
And he'll have a chance, I think, up into the turn 6-7 chicane. If he can get a good run out of 5 here and keep it tight on the inside. He got a little bit of oversteer, had to get out of the throttle. He's not quite close enough. I think he'll have to wait now until the pit straight. A half a chance down into turn 12. He's got to follow through these two this fast chicane and the 2 very fast corners, a left and a right. It'll have to wait now, I think, until the pit straight.
Alonso's been on these tyres since lap 12 and is struggling for grip. Lewis Hamilton just come into the pits, fresher tyres, has got the grip he needs, and has he got the speed he needs to get past Alonso as well. Hanging in the back of this battle is Kimi Räikkönen now, getting a bit closer to Mark Webber. And he's
pitted.
Yeah, Alonso pits. A sensible option maybe on that one. Is Sebastian Vettel too pitting. You can see there they're getting busy in the Red Bull pit box. Our race leader spinning those rear wheels before he's released from the jack. And away he goes. Behind now Lewis Hamilton, down to you, Ted.
Yeah, but that was very slow and steady, wasn't it, from Red Bull Racing? So Vettel handling all sorts of problems during this race. Fernando Alonso just passed me.
Ted, just want to butt in there because, as we can see on our screen, Jenson Button is once again ahead of Sebastian Vettel. You say all sorts of problems. They're continuing onto the track now. He's already spent 12 laps behind Button in this race. He might have to spend a few more behind Button as well. Ted, back down to you.
Yeah, but Lewis Hamilton, strategy-wise, doing everything he needs to win this race. He was the team radio.
Blue flag, Button and Vettel, both together.
He's out of the way, he's gone. Meanwhile, Felipe Massa with that front wing damage, getting onto the marbles to try and get past Nico Hülkenberg and just getting the job done before Hülkenberg turns in and he moves himself up into 9th place.
Okay, Lewis, so we're going to start looking after these rears now.
And Vettel with yet another Caterham coming up for traffic. Vettel will be getting pretty punchy here.
He has to think about the championship, and it might not be going well for him this afternoon, but he's got a 34-point lead, which he will still extend.
Right through for Grosjean, leaving the track and gaining an advantage.
And that will be for his move on Felipe Massa, where he managed to pass him. Looked like a great move at the time, and we were riding on board, but the stewards have obviously decided he went across the white lines, and look at Schalpeek getting involved, trying to keep out of the way, but it's so difficult on this track.
He didn't try hard enough. He couldn't let these two go much earlier in the lap. So it goes.
Button has done 11 laps on his options, so he's close to the cliff. Grosjean has a drive-through penalty.
Currently in 4th place, and his incident where he collided with Jenson Button going to be investigated after the race. Now on board with Sebastian Vettel. Jenson Button on the old soft compound tyre is there for the taking on this occasion, and it's not 12 laps he spends behind Jenson Button, it's just a couple on this occasion, but it's still 2 more that plays into Hamilton's hand.
Yeah, but it's game back on again then, isn't it? Yeah.
Okay, Mom, we got a drive-through penalty.
Why?
So this is with button incident, we need to do it, so please come in end of this lap.
So here he goes. Yes, we think...
I think you're right. I think you're right, Croft. I don't think it's the Button incident.
No.
But it was the Button incident.
Yeah.
But I'll stick by my 100% Roman's fault. Here we go. This is what we need to see. Now let's have a look at, it's his left-hand side wheels. Does he keep that? The curb doesn't count, it's the line that matters, the curb.
You need to give me a rundown of what's going on, Dave. You need to give me a rundown of what's going on around me.
Okay, then steering clear air at the moment. Cars behind are Massa and Rosberg. We're racing them to the end. And we're racing Grosjean, who has 1 more stop to make. He doesn't have the gap on us at the moment.
Fernando going to the end.
We think Fernando will stop again. He's already done 9 laps. We need to keep the pace high now.
Car stopped on the left.
It's the Williams of Valtteri Bottas, who sadly for him has had to pull over to the side of the track. And that's his first retirement in Formula One.
And that's in the firing line there of the exit of the final corner. So unless they can quickly recover that.
Well, I think they're just giving it a bit of a push, Martin, but
Where to?
unless there's a gap, and it took you a while to get from the grid up to the commentary box, so I assume there's no gap down there.
Car-sized one, that's for sure.
No sign of a safety car just yet.
I bet it's sitting there ready to go though, because that car is in a very difficult position there, and it's in the firing line. That's the key thing. If something happens coming off that last corner, the car is right there.
As into the pits comes Romain Grosjean for what is his 4th visit into the pits this afternoon. 3 for a tyre stop and 1 for a drive-through penalty. So moves Kimi Räikkönen now up into 5th place, of course. A slow stop with the front right.
Because he went way past his mark.
Yeah. Cost him 0.8 of a second in that pit stop.
He fastest lap for Webber now.
Now the thing is, does it cost him here with Jenson Button, Martin? He's just ahead of Felipe Massa, but without that 0.8 of a second, he'd have been out ahead of Button.
Yeah. We'll have a look. Maybe Ted was there, but I think he went quite a bit past his stop mark, so that meant they had to reshuffle across with the tyre and the gun.
Into the pits comes Fernando Alonso then, for his 3rd stop of the race, as he makes his way down the pit lane. Button and Grosjean just around the final turn now.
That released Alonso, Räikkönen in some clear air as well.
Yeah. So right here, Grosjean could have been challenging Alonso had he not been held up a little bit in the pits as well, but that's if some buts and maybes. He's stuck behind Button. Button is behind Alonso after their stops. And Nico Rosberg and Felipe Massa into the pits as well. Ted Kravitz down in the pit lane.
There is, and Massa and Rosberg pitted, which means that Jenson Button's task, really, his battle, is only with this guy, with Romain Grosjean. So he'll be doing well to stay ahead of him, considering that the Lotus is a quicker car. But if he does, then McLaren believe he has enough time in hand over Massa and Rosberg to maintain that position. So that would be good for McLaren, wouldn't it? But up in front, Fernando Alonso, we haven't spoken too much about him, holding on to a net 3rd place now, Ferrari believe. Again, not bad for Ferrari.
It looks to me as if they should pit Button now.
Oh, look, there goes Grosjean and Button once again. And this time the Lotus has managed to get past Jenson Button using a bit of DRS into turn 2. And Button now seeing the Lotus fly off into the distance as our race leader, Lewis Hamilton, comes in for his final pit stop.
50 miles an hour, 80 kilometers per hour now, a new regulation. It's not a particularly long pit stop, pit straight as it were, because the garages are much smaller here than some of the newer circuits.
And there goes Sebastian Vettel. You just saw the Red Bull flying down the straight. There he is into turn one. Hamilton, where's he going to come out though? Ahead of Mark Webber. This is going to be really, really tight, isn't it? It's going to be side by side going into turn one. Hamilton just locks up. He's got the inside line. Mark Webber goes around the outside, and Mark Webber is ahead now of Lewis Hamilton on the track after Hamilton's pit stop. It's Red Bull 1 and 2. Out on the track, and Hamilton will fight this now down into turn three. Maybe the back marker helps him a bit. He's got the inside line there. Webber has to go off the track, but in doing so, manages to keep hold of second place. Oh, sorry, now loses second place. Webber goes off the track. Hamilton goes through, and he had to go off the track, Mark Webber. There was no room for him.
Yeah. And let's have a look at it again. So the back marker getting in the way, the Sauber of Hülkenberg getting in the way. Hamilton thinks, I want past this Red Bull right now. And he had the right to turn into that corner, and Mark's space was always going to disappear. Yeah. That's eerily reminiscent of what we were doing at Silverstone with two Red Bulls. I don't think that's a problem for Lewis Hamilton. Right. I don't think it is.
Okay, Kimi, Webber ahead of you has one more stop for options.
Oh, Sebastian Vettel about to pit. Oh,
yeah, I was just going to say, as I went down to you, I saw Sebastian Vettel, a cloud of smoke. Over to you, sir.
I was about to tell you he was about to pit. So as long as we got the bases covered down here, David. And that makes me think that Kimi Räikkönen does have to stop again, I'm afraid to say. We'll see whether they can do it. Lotus can do it, but I think their plan is at the moment to stop Kimi again.
Well, here's the thing, Ted. Räikkönen is now ahead of Sebastian Vettel on the track. And here's Daniel Ricciardo, may well be Sebastian Vettel's teammate when we come back to the Hungaroring this time next year.
Not going to hustle him too much through turn one, is he, Daniel Ricciardo?
Well, after you, my old pal, put in a good word for us with the bosses, if you don't mind. But Räikkönen is now ahead of Vettel on the track.
Okay, Sebastian, the situation is this. You've got Kimi ahead of you. He's going to the end like this. Your tyres are 13 laps fresher than his. That's it. But he's ahead on the road.
Yeah. So Red Bull certainly think that Kimi Räikkönen's going to the end.
Okay, Lewis, can you go diff entry 4, diff high speed 4.
Hey man, trying to process here. I'm happy with the way the car is.
Yeah, but can you go diff entry 4 anyway?
I wonder what that could be. Managing some temperatures.
It's obviously enough for the pit wall to think that, you know, we've got to get you to do this, Lewis. You understand his frustration, you know, the racing driver that wants to get on with the job, but the job is a little bit more than just turning the steering wheel these days.
I thought you were going to say, sure, anything you want.
Would you like me to play Angry Birds while I'm at it? Gap that Lewis Hamilton has over Kimi Räikkönen at the moment, 6.3 seconds. That's an important one to focus on.
So the big story now...
Webber's coming in. Sorry, Martin.
Just wanted to say, the big story now is when is Webber coming in?
Now.
Yeah, you're ahead of me on that one.
Here he comes then. Option tyre. Soft compound tyre for Mark Webber. Loses 21 seconds, of course, in the pit stop. But with some super speedy tyres and the brand new set of soft compound tyres, has he got the pace to get back up there with the top three as he comes out onto the racetrack ahead of the Ferrari of Fernando Alonso, and that's key for him.
It is. He's got some traffic in front of him though. It's lap traffic. Oh, look at this. This is for P2 now.
Okay, Lewis, all the temperatures look good. If you're happy with the tyres, we could do with another half second just to make everything nice and safe.
So has he been managing his pace, Lewis Hamilton, in order to just give it a little bit more towards the end of the race?
Safe against what, do you think?
The fact that he's been running in clean air for most of this Grand Prix will have certainly helped him as well. He's not had to back off, really, on lap 63 here at this Hungarian Grand Prix. It's been a fabulous race for me this afternoon. Look at some of the chunks of rubber that are coming off these tyres towards the end. bouncing off into the Armco.
I really thought Vettel would be, yet again we've got a Caterham parked in the middle of the action. I really thought Vettel would be straight on the back of that Lotus. Raikkonen doing a fine job, considering especially how old those tyres are.
But he was very quickly gaining on Kimi Raikkonen and then just couldn't go any faster, any further.
Well, we were on board, weren't we, through turn 5 as the King was trying to get away from him.
Oh, and that's Nico Rosberg out of the race. Now, is that overheating from an engine that's caused him to park up on the exit of turn 2? And a lot of smoke as well that has failed on Nico Rosberg. And a fire, Martin, that you can see.
Oil fire, that should go out pretty quickly.
Mercedes in their 350th race as an engine supplier could be on for the win here, but it's not going to be without a few nerves towards the end of this race. Another Caterham, Van der Garde this time causing another chicane for Raikkonen and for Vettel in second and third, and Ted, we can go down to you.
And a very, very nervous Mercedes pit wall. I can see them all talking to each other. Andrew Shovlin and Ross Brawn. Lewis Hamilton's engineer is actually in the garage, so he's not discussing it directly with the guys on the pit wall, but that's what all those discussions were about, telling Lewis Hamilton to lift and coast and lose half a second to cool the engine. I'm sure they'll be saying that again now.
And he might just have lifted and coasted enough. We shall see. 4 laps remaining.
Fail 22, fail. Fail 2-2, fail.
Fail 22, fail. Fail 2-2, fail.
Now they've got some homework to do while they're racing as well, but I think Vettel can easily get up behind him. He can't do anything when he's got there, David. That's a problem. And we've been on board a few times now where Seb just cannot pick up the throttle. The car's sliding all over the place. If Raikkonen doesn't make a mistake, I wonder where Vettel can get this done. He has the much faster car. He's just got a Lotus in the way with 30-lap-old tyres.
You just wonder that. Fail 2-2, fail 22, fail. Is that KERS related? 3 laps remaining. Lewis Hamilton out in the lead. It's not a KERS problem, is it? Sebastian Vettel draining that battery at the moment, using DRS as well down the main straight. Kimi Raikkonen still ahead of him. 6/10 the gap at the end of lap 67. There's a 6/10 that Vettel just can't close up. They haven't got the straight line speed in that Red Bull, but their pace comes from the middle sector. Another lock-up from Sebastian Vettel going deep into turn 2.
Yeah, he's just lighting that Red Bull up still, and Raikkonen's gone a little bit wide, and he's under pressure then up into turn 4. He's having to stay to the left-hand side as Vettel tries to go right. He's on the marbles. He'll be all over the place out there, and it'll cost him a couple of seconds. He can soon recover that, but can he do anything when he gets there? Raikkonen knows if he just keeps parking in the middle, he can keep him behind.
He is doing a brilliant defensive job, and Sebastian Vettel is going to have to wait.
He didn't give enough room.
We'll talk to Charlie.
What do you reckon, Martin?
I wouldn't bother talking to Charlie.
He wasn't ahead, was he?
No, there's nothing wrong with that.
It looked like there was a car's width to me, and Vettel certainly wasn't ahead. Well,
Percent KERS for the final lap.
just to keep Sebastian Vettel behind you. Hamilton moved from McLaren to Mercedes. Yeah, you won't get wins there. Final lap for Lewis Hamilton, the 70th and final lap of the race.
New personal best for Hamilton as well on that penultimate tour. He's got some grip, he's got some speed.
A man hungry for success, and he often gets it here in Hungary. 4th pole could be about to be followed by his 4th win as well. Raikkonen 0.8 of a second ahead of Sebastian Vettel. Is he going to go for it one more time, Vettel? Maybe down to turn 4, locks up as he goes deep once again into that second turn. And now, this is where Raikkonen has really got to watch, where he puts that Lotus car in the run up to turn 4. Vettel is certainly gaining on him, and this time he's comfortably 3 or 4 car lengths ahead, Kimi Raikkonen, as he makes his way 140 miles an hour through that left-hander.
Vettel in a 4-wheel drift through there. They've told him to keep some KERS for the last lap, and Vettel locks up. Can he keep it on the track? He does, just about, but it just gives a bit of breathing space to Kimi Räikkönen.
Meanwhile, Lewis Hamilton has now got just 3 corners to go as Kimi Räikkönen defends for all his might to try and get a successive second place here at Hungary. There's the battle for the minor podium places between Kimi Räikkönen and between Sebastian Vettel. Lewis Hamilton, meanwhile, is coming round the final turn. It's a 4th win in Hungary. It's a first win for Mercedes. Hamilton wins the Hungarian Grand Prix. What a way to end the first part of the season. What a way to sign off before the summer break. That is going to be a holiday he will enjoy for the full 3 weeks. Kimi Räikkönen, meanwhile, comes home to take 2nd place ahead of Sebastian Vettel. What a great challenge that was. Vettel loses out for 2nd.